Welcome to part 4 in the video series, Upgrading Your Mini Lathe, the Reassembly. All right, finally, we're going to do some reassembly. And according to the instructions, that's what they want us to do. Start reassembling this thing. And as far as I'm concerned, what that means is I need to get the head put back on here and the gear train, connect this lead screw, and get the electric back on here and get that spindle spinning. Let's get into that. The next thing is mounting the head. I made sure the bottom of this was all stoned, cleaned. This was cleaned. Place it on there. I move it up and back. You'll feel if there's any grit. We take two of the existing socket head cap screws that we took out, and we use those in the front. The back, they give you a hex head bolt that you have to put in. With the new motor mount, there's no room for a socket head cap screws. Next, once the head's bolted on, is the gear housing. Make sure you put your belt on first and then mount the housing. Let me bring the camera a little closer. And make sure this nylon gear and the spindle gear here aren't meshing too tight or too loose. I just pulled it straight up. Snug those down. Okay. Next, I believe it's the change gear stud we need to put on. And what you need to put that on is a 17 millimeter spanner. It's the short end that goes into the frame. I already had it on there, like I said, to make sure I tapped it correctly. And we're just going to lock that down right where it is. Okay. Next, the motor. We have a new motor mount. The two existing mounting holes will now hold this swivel mount on there with the two M6 flathead screws. And that is using a Phillips screwdriver. When you put that on there, there's a short end and a long end of this swivel rod. They want the long end on the side with the shaft. Okay, let's do that. Okay, in the motor compartment, once you get the motor mounted on the swivel mount, there are two dog point screws, a M10 by 1.5, that they swivel on. They go in on each side. I had to put a M10 tap through there before it would work. Put those on both sides. Then they give you a M6 hex head screw and a M5 hex head screw take the M5 and put it all the way, and screw it all the way in there. There's also a nut that comes with it. Screw the nuts all the way onto the screws. That's going to be the belt tensioner. Okay. After you get the dog point screws in, you take the motor and put the wires through the hole. And you want to put these end parts of the pivot on those dog points. Let's do that. Next, adjust the belt tension with those screws that we put on the M5 and the M6 by adjusting them up and down. When you get the belt to the right tension, tighten the hex nut. I think that's fine. Okay, next. There's a few more things I have to do on this end, and I think it'd be easier if I turn this thing around. Let's do that. I need to put the keyway back in here and all these gears. I'm going to bring the camera a little closer now so I've got everything turned around. All right, I think I'll put this keyway, key into the keyway. And then I believe this spacer goes on here. This gear goes next. The change gear bracket. I believe that needs a 14 millimeter. We're not going to lock that down yet. Leave it by hand because I'm not sure where it's going to go. Then, this here gear. Put that on there, and you need a 5 millimeter hex wrench. Okay. Okay. That's all hooked up. Now what I need to do is hook up all the electrics. Let's get the other wires in here. This is the motor cover and it houses the plug. I need to put these wires through that little hole above the motor. This hole that the motor wires come through. Easier said than done. There we go. Okay, I need to put a couple of screws in here and bolt on this motor cover. The black and white wire with the little smiley face on it. That goes to the forward and reverse switch from the motor. The black and white and green wire. Green is a ground. The black goes on the bottom of the on and off switch, and the white goes to the top of the on and off switch, according to the picture I took. Okay, let's do that. Okay, this is the forward reverse switch that comes from the motor with the smiley faces. The white one goes on the left side. And this is the motor ground, and it goes over here. This is from the plug, the power. Black goes on the bottom. White goes on the top. Other wires to ground. That goes, if I remember correctly, it was in the middle. This is the other ground from the plug. And there's one more thing that has to go on here, and that is the wire protector that goes over the lead screw so it doesn't rub on it. These screws come from the old machine. Okay. Now, before I could put this on, to get these screws out, you know, they didn't put holes in the bottom of the frame for these here. But I don't think we need them. I think 2 of them will be enough. If not, later on I'll drill and tap some. Let's put that on. All right. The only thing left is to plug it in and see if this thing turns. Let's do that. Before we turn it on and see if it works, I went ahead and put the gear cover on. I put the tailstock on, and I put the compound slide back on, and that will complete the reassembly of the 16-inch bed extension. Let's see if this works. Light goes on. Success! All right, it's working. It runs. Lead screw is turning. That's what we want. Okay. I believe this video is coming to an end. So let's wrap this video up, and until next time, enjoy.